It was pouring rain the night I watched my Jeep vanish into the dark on the back of a flatbed. Yellow lights flashing across the neighborhood like a warning. Karen Keller, our HOA president, had finally crossed the line. She'd forged a fake notice, called in her brother-in-law's tow truck, and tried to disappear my Rubicon like it was hers to give away. She thought nobody would stop her. She had no idea I was already 2 steps ahead, and that this battle would end with the state attorney slamming her entire empire down in front of the whole neighborhood. When my wife Angela and I first moved into Maple Creek, I thought we'd found a quiet slice of suburban peace tree-lined streets, neighbors who waved schools people bragged about. That illusion lasted less than a week. Karen introduced herself not with a smile, but with a violation notice stuffed into my mailbox. My trash can apparently was 3 inches too close to the curb. $50 fine. That was our welcome mat. From then on, it was constant skirmishes. Garden hose visible fine. Tires a little muddy after a weekend camping fine. I wasn't about to bow to her nonsense. I fought back the only way I knew how: receipts, bylaws, certified letters. I kept a binder thick enough to break a table leg. Most neighbors caved because it was easier. I'm stubborn. But nothing lit her fuse like my Jeep. A 2022 white Rubicon lifted just enough wheels that could crawl a wall. To me, it was pride and freedom. To Karen, it was an eyesore. She said it lowered property values. Truth was, it lowered her ego. She wanted control, and the Jeep didn't fit her manicured image. One afternoon, she actually called the police for a civil standby. Picture this: me in my driveway wiping brake dust when a cruiser pulls up and Karen struts out like she owns the block, clutching a clipboard like it's the Constitution. She waves her hand at my Jeep like it's some illegal contraption. The officer, bless him, looks exhausted, barely listening. I stay calm because panic is fuel for people like her. Then I crack open my binder. City Ordnance Dealer sticker, daily video proof my Jeep runs fine. Karen's face goes from smug to blotchy red as the cop shrugs and drives off. In front of her perfect lawn, she'd been humiliated. She didn't say a word, but the glare she threw me said everything war wasn't over. It had just started. Angela was my anchor through all this. She upgraded our home security like we lived in Fort Knox, cameras on every corner, motion alerts on our phones, even a drone for roof inspections. On a whim, she slipped an AirTag deep in the Jeep's roll cage. "You never know," she said. "That little move would save us later." 3 nights after the police incident, the storm hit. Heavy rain, thunder shaking the windows. We were curled up on the couch when Angela's tablet pinged motion alert in the driveway. On screen, a hooded figure moved straight for my Jeep. My heart jumped. At first I thought car thief. But Angela zoomed in, and there it was, Karen's sharp jaw, her raincoat hood half down. She wasn't breaking in. She was pressing a plastic-sleeved notice to my windshield, snapping a picture and vanishing back into the storm. When we rewound the footage, the words glared at us. "Final notice: abandoned vehicle will be towed in 24 hours. Fake ordinance. Fake seal." Straight-up fraud. I wanted to rip it off right then, march across the street and shove it in her face. Angela stopped me. "If you remove it, it's your word against hers. Let her play her hand. We'll catch it all." And sure enough, at 1 a.m., headlights washed across our windows. A tow truck, express towing and recovery run by Gerald's brother-in-law, rolled up quiet. A burly driver slapped chains on my Jeep, winched it onto the flatbed, and drove off into the night. Every angle was caught on our cameras. Angela saved it twice, cloud and hard drive. I clenched my fists so tight my knuckles cracked. Watching them steal what was mine felt like swallowing glass. The AirTag dot on Angela's phone didn't head to the official lot. No, it veered to some industrial park, a fenced yard behind a windowless building. Not storage, this was a chop shop. The next morning I drove Angela's sedan out there, heart pounding. My Jeep sat in the corner hood, up, wires hanging. The same tow driver, Sal, wiped grease off his hands. When I demanded my Jeep, he sneered, $3,000 for the tow pal. Pay up or get lost." Then he shoved me hard enough to bruise. That shove told me everything. This wasn't civil. This was criminal. And I had just seen bolts scattered near my tire laptop hooked to the ECU. They weren't holding it, they were gutting it. That night lying awake, I almost cracked. I thought maybe I should have moved. Maybe it was my fault for holding on so tight. Maybe fighting Karen was just dragging us deeper. But then I remembered the empty driveway my Jeep hooked like a carcass, and Angela's steady voice. "You've got proof. Don't let her win." That flipped a switch. This wasn't just about a car, it was about someone abusing power, twisting rules, and thinking nobody could stop her. I wasn't quitting. Our break came from the strangest place, a piece of paper. Angela scanned that fake orange notice under her forensic software. Every printer leaves microscopic patterns like fingerprints. The notice matched documents printed in the HOA clubhouse, the monthly financials Gerald handled. That was it. Karen and Gerald weren't just harassing me. They were using HOA resources to commit fraud. 2 days later, another blow landed. Police stopped me in a borrowed truck, said their scanner flagged my Jeep's VIN on a gray clone 3 cars back that sped off. That's when it clicked. The ring wasn't just stealing parts, they were cloning vehicles. My Rubicon's identity was being used to cover stolen cars. This was way bigger than HOA drama. Organized crime had its claws in our cul-de-sac, and Karen Keller was their inside woman. We met with Detective Miller, part of the auto theft task force. Laid everything out like a case file, videos, notices, printer analysis. She didn't laugh us off. She leaned in. "You've done more detective work than some of my rookies," she said. "This is enough to pull warrants." That was the moment I knew the tide had turned. The plan was risky, but perfect, the monthly HOA meeting. Karen's stage, her throne. Let her think she's in control one last time. That night, the clubhouse was packed, neighbors crammed in, buzzing with rumors. Karen sat up front in her blazer, regal as ever, Gerald sweating beside her, Brenda blank as always. I stood and said, "I have new business." Karen's smile faltered. I connected Angela's laptop to the projector, and up came the first image, Karen in her raincoat planting the fake tag on my Jeep. Gasps filled the room. Phones rose. She sputtered, "That's doctored, Angela. Hit play." The video rolled. Karen, trespassing, pressing the sticker, snapping her photo. Silence, then outrage. Next slide, toner, pattern analysis, proving the fake notice was printed on the HOA's own machine, Gerald's machine. He looked like he might faint. Then the midnight tow footage, Sal hauling my Jeep away. Neighbors muttered connecting dots. And then the drone shot the money shot, Karen in her driveway swapping my license plate from a gray clone Jeep onto her Lexus. The room erupted. Karen snapped. "People like you don't deserve nice things. Gerald told me to do it. I just wanted the Jeep for Kate," she screamed, pointing a trembling finger. Gerald shot back. "She forced me. She threatened to kick me off the board. Their empire crumbled right there in front of everyone." And that's when the clubhouse doors burst open. Detective Miller strode in with uniformed officers. "Karen Keller, Gerald Fletcher, you are under arrest." The cops cuffed them as the crowd shouted. Karen shrieked at me. "You ruined everything." I looked her dead in the eye, voice low and cold. "No, Karen, you did." They dragged her out, her perfect image, shattered clipboard, nowhere to hide. That's where the story ends. The arrests, the charges, the restitution, that all came after. But the moment that mattered most was watching the Queen of Curb Appeal hauled out of her own meeting in handcuffs, exposed as nothing more than a bully and a thief. Sometimes the best weapon isn't anger or muscle, it's patience, receipts, and the truth.